What's up, everybody? So today I'm going to be testing my grip strength with these grippers, and actually one more too. So a little bit of backstory on these grippers right here. So I got these about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, and I think I made a video at the time just showing you guys, hey, I got these grippers. But at the time, 2 to 3 years ago, I remember a while ago I had another one too. But anyhow, let's just say 3 years ago, I started to kind of get into grippers a little bit, and I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know how to close them. I didn't know how to properly hold them. Nothing like that, right? And so I made a couple of videos. Again, this was like 3 years ago, and it was a different pair than these. And people were telling me, because I was unable to close it, I think it was a 150-pound gripper at the time. And some people were saying, hey, it's probably not your strength, it's technique, and this and that. So I kind of got into it. And so yeah, so about 2 years ago, I bought this pack. Actually, I think it came a couple more, but I can't do any above even close to this. So basically, so this is a 50-pound one. At the bottom, it has like the little poundage. I hope you can see. So that's a 50-pound one. It's 100 pounds. And if anyone in the comments would like to translate that into kilograms, because I don't know what it is in kilograms. So 50, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, and then a 200 pounds. And I think I have somewhere a 250 pound and a 300 pound, but I can't even remotely even close those, so I didn't even try to find them. And then this other little one, this was just like a little cheap one that I found. I think this one is about like 35 pounds. So I'll start with this one. I'll start with the little cheap one. And so for anyone who doesn't know about grippers, the idea is, you take one hand and you close it until the ends touch, like that. That's the idea. You want to close it till the ends touch. Okay, so this is the 35-pound one. I think I've always been able to do that one. That's kind of like teen strength at that point. I would say your average teenage boy could do the 35-pound one. I'll get into that in a moment because eventually, I got these grippers, and I eventually took them to my job and let some of my friends and a bunch of people try them at my job. And so I'll kind of talk about the results of that too, what I found out from letting people try them out. So this is the 50 pound. So I did the 35-pound one. This is the 50-pound one. Close that one. I think when I first got them, these, I might have even had trouble with the 50 pounds. Like I said, there's some technique involved. It's kind of hard for me to show you because I have one hand on the camera and one hand for this. But the gist is, it's not just strength. It's like, say, 90% strength, but the other 10% is like how you hold it in your hand, learning like what fingers to grip with when. So like, I'll start with this, and then I'll pull down with my pinky finger. So yeah, there is some technique involved to it as well. So the people who said years ago, who told me that, hey, part of it is just technique, they're right. There is, I would say, probably about 10% is technique, 90% is strength, about 10% is just learning how to close the grippers. So if someone did start to get into them, I highly recommend starting with the lighter weight, even if it's easy for you, just to learn how to close them. So anyhow, so that was the 50. I did 35 to 50. Jumps up to 100 pounds. This is one thing that I don't like about grippers, as opposed to say standard weights. When you have standard weights, there's 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. But with grippers, as you see, it goes up exponentially, or a lot. From 50 pounds, this is literally the next one up. I mean, if you search, they do. I think I've seen ones that are like 60 pounds, maybe 75, but there's not a lot of in between. And so, sometimes it's hard to jump from one to the other. So now this one, 100 pounds. When I first got this one, I think that I might have had trouble closing this one. I think I was like, I think I could do it, but I didn't know the technique at the time. So anyhow, 100 pounds. So yeah, So now I could close the 100 pounds pretty good. And just so you know, before I get to 150, I've been doing the 100 a lot today, and so my hand is kind of tired. I'm making excuses already. And if you hear me wipe my hand, because I wipe the sweat off my hand, some guys, what they do, there's this stuff called gym chalk. It's just cheap. It's like $1 or $2. They're like these little white blocks of gym chalk. I don't know what the chemical formula is, but anyhow, you rub your hands on it and it dries your hands in case your hands are sweaty. So some guys, when they do grippers, especially when they do like higher weights, they'll put a bunch of gym chalk on their hands. I've even seen like there's like gym glue. There's other stuff to make it so your hands don't slip. But I kind of just wipe the sweat off on my hands. Okay, so now 150. So definitely when I first got these, I could not do the 150 pounds. And so this is kind of the test. Over time, just to be honest, I was able to do it. But sometimes it's harder for me than others. So we'll see right now if I could close the 150 pounds. But I got to prepare a little bit more for this one. And it's kind of awkward how I'm standing. Oh, and that's the other thing too. It's not just how you like pull it, it's also like the way your arms positioned, whether you're standing up, this and that. Again, I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just literally, it's like 90% strength and about 10% skill. Okay, 150. Let's see. There we go. Oh yeah, I did it pretty easily. All right, 150 pounds. Wow. Yeah, so I have been doing the 100 pound a lot lately, and that's probably why I'm able to do the 150 now. Now the 200. I'm going to tell you right now, I have never been able to do the 200, and I'm almost like 100% not going to be able to do it right now because one, I've been, like I said, working my hand out all day, and two, I'm not there yet in strength. I'm going to have to work on the 100 pound for probably at least another couple more months, and then hopefully bump up to the 150 pound, and then do that for maybe several months before I even have a chance at doing this one. But I'll try just for the video's sake. 200 pounds. Oh man. And especially because I can't stand, I can't get proper I'm gonna make a lot of excuses basically. Okay, here we go. 200 pounds. Oh man, I'm really squeezing. Let's see if I can do it. I'm trying to do it off camera. No, I can't. I could try with my left hand because I haven't done as much with my left hand today. I'm not sure if I'm stronger or weaker with my left hand. I think it's about pretty similar. It just depends on the day and what I've been doing. Okay. Yeah, it's really how you hold it and how you place it in your hand. Oh, your hand crack. No, I can't do it. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to do the 200 pound. I'll try one more time with my right. Oh, no, there's no way. Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not there in the 200 pound. But I am proud of myself. So, yeah, so like I said, it's been about a couple years. And so, it's not that I do it every day, especially, when I was working, stuff like that. Some days I would do it, some days I wouldn't. So basically, but doing on and off, it took me about 2 years to get to where I could do the 150. You see, I did it pretty easily. Now that my hand is tired, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it now. Yeah, my hand's tired now. But you see me here, I'm going to try with my left hand. Let's see if I can do it with my left hand. Wear myself out. Oh, my hand keeps popping. Oh, is that a close? I think that's a close. Really close. I think that's closed. Yeah. So So I worked up over the past couple of years. I worked up to 150 pounds. So I'm pretty impressed with myself as far as that goes. So now, as far as the results, like I said, when I was working at my last job, I let various people try it, from my friends to just random people who seen me or my friends doing them, and they wanted to try. And in general, there are exceptions. So in general, okay, let's start. So in general, before I even talk about my work, in general, just in society, the people who have the strongest grip generally is men, grown men. I mean, that may or may not be surprising. Again, there's exceptions to that rule, but in general, grown men have stronger grips than, say, women teenage girls. And then below grown men, probably teenage boys. I guess that's testosterone, or maybe guys do more stuff with their hands, whatever, right? But my point is, in general, the level of like grip strength usually goes from, well, the top is obviously people who train grip. That's the very top, either men or women, but it's generally men, people who train all the time, who are able to do the 250 pound, 300 pound, 350 pound grippers. It's the obviously people who train. And then below that is, people who generally work out, not necessarily grippers, but they just get strong grip just from picking up weights and stuff like that. And, but yeah, so in general, if you just take, say, 100 people at a society, just random people, you don't know what they do, you don't know whether they work out or whether they train on grippers or not. In general, you'll see stronger grip from men, in general. And then, below that, probably teenage boys. And then from there, probably adult women. And then from there, young children, so the grip gets kind of weaker and weaker from there, right? And so I kind of seen that from the little bit of non-official tests that I did for my job, and just having other friends or family, my girlfriend trying them, and whoever else. I even tried to see if my son can do it, and he couldn't. He couldn't do it. Like I said, the weakest one I have is 35 pounds. They even have less ones. They have ones for children too, because again, children do have weaker grips. They have down to like 20 pounds or whatever. So in general, the average guy, say at my last job, was easily able to do the 50 pound. Pretty much every guy, there's a couple exceptions, but pretty much I would say like 90% of the guys, maybe more, maybe 95% of the guys could do 50 pounds, no problem. So again, the average guy could do this, no problem. And maybe some teenage boys could do 50 pounds, especially teenage boys who work out can do 50 pounds. Okay. As far as women, because I had a lot of women try too, I don't want to say it's 50-50, who the amount of women who can and can't do it, but say maybe, I don't know, 75% of women can do the 50 pound one. Again, it depends on age, it depends what they do and stuff like this. But again, women have generally a weaker grip. It's not being mean or anything. I mean, it's just facts. Again, maybe just because guys, it's a testosterone thing, or guys just more generally do things with their hands, whatever. But so there were some women, basically my point is there's some women who could do the 50 pound grip, and there was a number of women who couldn't do the 50 pound grip. Okay. When you get up to the 100 pound grip, virtually no women, at least at my old job, were able to do the 100 pound grip. I think maybe 2 girls out of all the ones I tried, I don't know, 20, 30 different girls over time to say, hey, you want to try it or whatever. And I would say maybe only 2, maybe 3 were able to close the 100 pound gripper. As far as guys, it goes, like I said, from 50 pounds. The great majority of guys could do it. When you get to 100 pounds, maybe 50% of guys can close. This is just very, generic. I didn't write anything down or whatever, but I would say about half the guys that I let try, say took a group of 100 guys, maybe 50 of them could close the 100 pound, 50 of them could not. Again, depending on age, hand size matters, and then again, 10% of, like I said, closing grippers in general is just technique. There were some guys who were unable to close this, who I know were strong enough to do it, but again, you just have to learn the technique, as I had to learn the technique. So yeah, I would say around 50-50 of guys. When you get to the 150 pounds, I noticed, then it drops down considerably. Maybe only 20% of guys could that I tried out could do 150 pounds. yeah, if you took a group of 100 guys just randomly, and say you went to the middle of New York City or Los Angeles, any city, anywhere, and you just grabbed 100 guys and be like, hey, you want to try the 150-pound hand gripper? I would say maybe 20 out of 100 guys could probably do the 150-pound. Whereas, of course, if you go to a gym and you ask 100 guys, maybe way more can do, maybe 80%. But in general, I would say probably about 20%. Then when you get to 200 pounds, then it drops considerably. Now you're talking about maybe 1% of guys. As you've seen, I can't even do the 200-pound gripper. Yeah, there were a few guys at my old job who were able to do it. I don't want to mention any names. I don't know if anybody wants their name mentioned. But yeah, there were a few guys who were able to do it. Mostly it was like mechanics or just guys who worked with their hands. There's some guys who had worked in the fields before, like, picking apples or whatever. And just over time, again, just naturally, working with your hands for years, again, being a mechanic, working in the fields, lifting stuff, turning wrenches, whatever, your hands get strong. So in general, that was the guys who were able to close it, some very easily. There's some guys who were able to close the 200-pound, like, surprise. I was like very surprised. They're just naturally just strong hands. But yeah, it's probably down to maybe a couple of percent. You pick 100 guys, probably less than 10. If you get a random group of 100 guys, maybe 10 guys could close the 200-pound. And then again, I did not bring the 250-pound. Then it gets down to maybe just 1 or 2 guys, if that. You can get a group of 100 guys and maybe none of them can close the 250 pounds. I think, and the whole time I worked at my last job, and just in general, everyone that I had try it, maybe I think 2 people at the most out of like well over 100 people I let try were able to close the 250 pound, what I just didn't bring in the car with me. So yeah, once it gets to 250 pounds, it's very small percentage of guys that could do it. Oh, and 0%. Oh yeah. So 0% of the women that I had try could do 250 pounds. I would say, I think 0% of the women I had try were able to do 150 pounds. Maybe 1, I can't remember. Yeah, I want to say 0. So out of every lady that I allowed to let try the 150, none of them were able to do it. Again, with a 100-pound, a couple of them, one of them was actually a female mechanic, and she was able to close it actually pretty easily. But like I said, it's such a jump from the 100 to 150 that it's hard. She was able to do the 100, not the 150. But that even impressed me how easily she was able to close the 100-pound. I mean, it's not light. Like I said, some guys can't even do the 100-pound. But yeah, so to recap, the vast majority of grown men can do 50 pounds pretty easily. I don't know, 80-90% of men. You get a group of 100 men, even some teenage boys, they'll be able to do the 50-pound. Whatever percentage of women, maybe 50% of women. Again, you get up to the 100-pound. And then it drops for men, whatever, I forget what percentage I said now, but, as I say, 50% or whatever. But then women, it drops considerably. Once you get to the 100-pound already, it drops considerably. And then 150, it just drops even more for everybody, men and women. Then you're down to, the top, say 20% or so of guys who either train on it or they just do a lot of stuff with their hands or whatever. And then 200 pounds, it's just really strong guys, and especially 250 pounds. And then above that, the only time I've ever seen anyone do 300 pounds, no one at my job was able to do 300 pounds. Because I have a 300-pound hand gripper too. I wouldn't even bring it out because just nobody could do it. Nobody could do it. The only time I seen it close was just on YouTube videos. And like I said, guys getting the gym chalk and getting positioned properly, and guys who've been training on it, this and that. So it's fun. It's fun, messing around with them, seeing who can do, what weight, this and that. And, I like them. Overall, I like them. I feel like it was a good purchase. I bought them a couple years ago. They're still, they're still going strong or whatever. Nothing's busted or anything like that. They still, are going well. And if anyone is curious of how to get better at them, you would think, oh yeah, well, if I want to get better, I just, close them over and over, right? That's true. You want to get better at hand grippers? Yeah, of course, you just do reps. Okay, of course. But another way that I found out getting good at grippers is the hold. So instead of, like, sometimes I'll do 10 or, however many reps I want. But say I'm just going to do 5. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the 5th one, I'll hold for kind of as long as I can. Say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, however long I can hold it. That really develops your grip strength as well. Like, just from doing that, just from the holding actually hurt my arm more than the pumping. So yeah, that's kind of the true way to get stronger, at least as far as hand grippers is concerned, is the hold. When you're holding it like that, and it's you're clamping it against the resistance, then you start to feel the strength. I think that's one thing that improves my grip strength the most, is holding, but also in reps too. Like I'll do several reps and then hold it, take a break, go to my left arm, and I try to do equal amounts from my right hand to my left hand. But yeah, I do a few reps, hold, and then go to my other hand, and then kind of go back and forth. So yeah, so that's it. Again, I'm proud of myself for moving up. Maybe one day I'll get to this baby right here, but it's gonna take a while. Yeah, the guys who do this, they have a really, really strong grip, and it's mostly guys, like I said, who've just worked with their hands for years and years and years, and so they just kind of have a naturally strong grip. But yeah, so that's my goal eventually. But anyway, that's it. That's it. That's my grip. I was able to do 150 pounds. Yay for me. I'm proud. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.